welcome you to our 2019 Medieval Day. The 7th graders have worked super hard to get ready for this. They're excited to show you what they've been learning and what they've been practicing. So we hope that you enjoy it. Our herald today, our MC, is Easton Grammer, so if you'll give him a round of applause.
Hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to our 2019 Medieval Day. We hope you enjoy our festivities. We would like to begin today by introducing our favorite prize. Mr. Bowers Pride, which hails from Oxfordshire. Miss Carlisle's Pride, which hails from Carlisle. Miss Eldridge Pride, which hails from Cambridge. Miss Hall's Pride, which hails from Yorkshire. Miss Baker's Pride, which hails from Lincolnshire. Miss Ripley's Bride, which hails from Camelot. Flag bearers, please place your flags on the wall and be seated with your pride. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our 2019 Medieval Court, Baron Hunter Hancock and Baroness Sophia Becker. Earl Leo Hall and Countess Emma Knightley. Count Illinger and Countess Carly Fader. Duke A.J. Odell and Duchess Madison Nix. Archduke Jonathan Conley and Archduchess Bella Roach. Prince Zachary Lightshoe and Princess Bella Steiner. I'll ask the audience to please stand. Please welcome 2019 Medieval King and Queen, King Camden and Queen Annika. seated so that we may begin the entertainment. This morning with our troubadour. Medieval troubadours travel around medieval Europe singing songs and reciting poems. Troubadours came into prominence in the High Middle Ages and would be employed to entertain in royal courts. Troubadours wrote on a wide array of subjects such as chivalry and love. Please welcome our troubadour, Brody Zumal, who will be reciting poetry today.
Awake the light once more, it's been too long asleep, and work that takes out deep, to gather and restore these laws I laid before. King of splendor brightness, true and clear, Almighty God, I bet I make my prayer. A friend I have not seen since night began, now that the dawn is near.
We will continue our entertainment with the cups. Will the members of the cup song please take the floor? While we wait for the students to get ready, here's a little fun fact on medieval times. It has been said that those with money had plates made of pewter. Unknowingly, at the time, food with high acid content caused some of the lead to leach onto the food, causing lead poisoning and death. This happened most often with tomatoes. So for the next 400 years or so, tomatoes were considered poisonous. And now, the cups. For the entertainment at feasts and other important occasions. Their main goal is to make the king happy. Court jesters are treated handsomely, with great living space, good food, and bodyguard. A nice benefit of being a court jester was being able to make fun of nobles without punishment. It is my pleasure to introduce our court jester, Manny Sancock.
Start with the jokes. What did a medieval postman wear? Chainmail. The other day I held the door for Squire. I thought it was the next jester. Why was the Middle Ages known as the Dark Ages? Because it was the knights.
Angel Trader, Julian White, Riley Hine, and Adonna Hoxett have created original poems for us to enjoy. Ladies, will you please take the floor?
Medieval times. The castle stands tall on top of the hill. Night's way at a battle may begin. Peasants start a long day work. Taxes and farmlands are being taken care of. Nuns and monks teach the word of God to children. Villages are busy, never losing energy. Queens and kings settle how they will go into battle. New children are born in my midwives almost every hour. Weavers are busy making wool and string for new clothes. Ladies in waiting are hoping for the worst in the castle. The scent of bread runs the air for bacon. Shoes click on hard pavement. A day in medieval times.
The king's new wife. Eslita was her name. She sewed like a goddess. She was the king's personal clothes maker. She was the best seamstress of all time. No one cared about Eslita. No one did but me. I couldn't admit that I loved her, but I think she knew. The king also loved Eslita. I was only a lonely knight. But she always smiled at me. She always seemed so happy to see me, but not the king. She hated the king. We thought that we'd be together forever, hoping she would marry me, but I guess we were wrong. She died when she refused to marry the king, and we never saw each other again, because she refused to marry him from the royal man.
Medieval times in a castle. What is life like in the castle? Not the best place to be, surrounded by coldness and smell, the heart of society, the most important place in the village, the place where the most high of the people live, the place where all the lower classes would love to live. The craftsmen were at work in the courtyard making their weapons. The cool air blowing through my hair as I walked through the long castle hallways, taking long walks through the castle looking at all the amazing things they have made to protect people like me. The fact that you don't have to worry about anybody hurting you, the beauty of having the most pretty house of all, the hope of becoming a queen one day, the joy of going to pray every day, the knowledge knowing about the word of God. That is what the castle life is like.
Life as an end. Up to pray before the morning sun. Early rise, my day has just begun. Helping others day after day, serving God helps me along the way. Washing, cooking, educating the people, medical care to those in need, and back to the steeple. My main goal in life is to serve my Lord. To say the least, my life is never poor. Next, we will learn a bit about other forms of entertainment enjoyed during the Middle Ages. Would the members of the games please take the floor? Here's another fun fact. Did you know that many popular names today come from jobs people had in medieval times? Names like Baker, Clark, Cooper, Foreman, Carpenter, Fisher, and Mason can all be traced back to that time period. People used their occupations to identify themselves, and the name stuck. Our first group will demonstrate the game of bowls. You'll see that it's similar to our bocce ball. In bowls, a ball called a jack is placed in the center of a field. Players roll a ball about the size of a tennis ball, and they can try to get as close to the jack as possible. If you want to gain a point, you have to get as close to the jack as possible in that turn. Let's see how these fellows fare. Our next group will demonstrate the game of Skittles. This is a medieval version of our game of bowling. This game consists of 9 pins lined in a square. Players get four rolls per game, and they would have to get different points depending on which pitch they hit. Players who rack up the most points win. Gentlemen? Finally, we have Blind Man's Bluff. Blind Man's Bluff is a popular game that consists of one person with a blindfold, and the blind man would be spun several times and try to distort him. The other players call out the blind man and try to dodge away from him. This game would be played by children, adults, and teens in the Middle Ages. When the blind man caught you, he would feel your face and try to guess who you are. The person who got caught would become the blind man, depending on where you are in Europe. This game is also known as blind fly, blind buck, blind cow, or blind hen. Please give a round of applause for all our demonstrators. Many of the nursery rhymes we know and love today have origins in the medieval times. Will the members of the nursery rhyme groups please take the floor? Here's another interesting fact about the medieval times. Animals could be tried and convicted for crimes, and if found guilty, sentenced to death. In Savigny, France, in 1457, a sow and her piglets were charged with the murder of a child. The mother pig was found guilty and sentenced to hanging. But the piglets were found innocent because it had not been proven that they participated in this crime. Ring Around the Rosie is a fun nursery rhyme that we all know, but is a source of controversy for historians and folklorists. Those who believe that this game is tied to medieval times say that rosy rash was a symptom of the plague or Black Death. They say that posies were herbs that were carried as a form of protection against a deadly disease, because medieval people believed that disease was spread by bad smells. Ashes represented the cremation of plague victims. Whether this game is a representation of this gruesome time in history, or something that was created much later, children still enjoy it today.
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall.
Please give our groups a round of applause. Next, we will experience a medieval tournament. Will the knights please take the floor? Another notable fact for you. Castles were primarily built for the purpose of protection. They started as a simple wooden structure, but as time passed, walls became thicker and taller. Most were ditches dug around the castle as means of defense. Knights were honorable warriors who fought for the lords and knights, kings. They wore heavy armor and rode on horseback. Knights were high on the social pyramid and were very well respected. The first recorded reference of a tournament was dated in 1066. Every noble was expected to pay for his land by providing trained knights and soldiers to fight for the king. The tournaments were forms of entertainment devised with a lance, while archers got to demonstrate their aim as they tried to earn more points than their opponents. It is my pleasure to introduce Sir Cy, Sir Tate, Sir Chase, and Sir Keenan. Let's watch to see who the winner will be at the joust. Our archers today will be Sir Braden and Sir Wade. Please watch as they try to shoot the arrow through a ring of fire. Our next groups will present Reader's Theater. Will the members of the plays please come down? Another interesting fact. Summer was a difficult time for villagers who often ran out of grain before the new crop could be harvested. Therefore, many had to resort to using old rye. Unfortunately, stored rye could be infected with beer vat, a fungus caused by stored rye. It could cause hallucinations, gangrene, and even death. Many medieval people were accused of witchcraft while under the influence of the fungus from stale rye. Our first play is set in the ballroom of a castle in the time of Queen Elizabeth I. Let's get a look inside and see what life is like.
Opens at a very fancy London party list at Queen Elizabeth I's castle. The early evening entertainment features a play by William Shakespeare, performed at her court. The most powerful men in England are in attendance. On the counters are such powerful and famous men as Sir Francis Drake, William Shakespeare, and Sir Walter Raleigh, all of who owe their wealth and power to Elizabeth's favor.
Your Majesty, you are a great history. With many readings across this room and across the world, and a spring breeze of your beautiful talent to a nation, restore nothing. Would you honor me for space?
Oh, Sir Walter, you're such a flatterer. Yes, do let us dance. I just love drifting across the floor on your arm.
Did you ever hear such a bunch of laughter in your life? I swear, Sir Walter Lake and thought the works off my toe. Did you see him last winter spreading his magnificent red coat in the yards where Majesty and her feet, honey? It was disgusting, even if it was very courtly. I'm surprised he didn't become a carrier.
She can certainly lap up the flattery like a kitten after spilled milk. Elizabeth is well past an age when she was a young queen courted by the great kings of Europe. She wears a wig, you know. She's totally bald under that bright red hair. I saw for myself and it makes me helping her get ready for the party.
The Conrad sponsor of the new world is named Virginia, in your honor as our virgin queen. After all, no man is worthy of you.
Your Majesty, may I have the honor of the next dance? As a graceful warrior, I would feel cheated if I should miss this opportunity.
But, of course, my Admiral, tell me again, Sir Francis, about some of our adventures. I especially enjoy how you stole entire shiploads of gold from our Spanish adversaries. King Philip did get very vexed with me over our privateering.
It was your support that was so important, Your Majesty. I was able to outfit our ships with the best weapons and the finest pirates. We used brilliant maneuvers to attack those slow-moving Spanish galleons as they headed back to Spain from the New World with their horns full of gold. We were always outnumbered, but we seldom lost a ship. It was a pleasure to share the gold with you. My circumnavigation of the globe also gave me the opportunity to claim many lands in your name.
You notice Sir Francis didn't mention being chased by several Spanish ships, and the only way he could get home was by going around the world in the Pacific Ocean.
King Philip did get very angry when I held the sword on your shoulder and made you Knight of the Realm. Tell us about your defeat of the Spanish Armada.
The Spaniards are not as skilled as we English in seafaring behind us. He left us huge assembly ships all loaded overboard, and we set several old ships on fire and set them directly into his fleet. These ships caught on fire, and the Almighty himself assisted us. A wind rose and spread the fires from ship to ship. We sailed into battle with the wind on our side, and our longer guns and faster ships simply shattered his clumsy ships. The remaining vessels were destroyed trying to escape and were deceased.
Sir Francis boasts as well as Sir Walter can flatter, even if it's the greatest naval victory in history.
Your Majesty, did you enjoy the performance of Romeo and Juliet this evening?
It was magnificent, Mr. Shakespeare. I cried and cheered like I was part of the performance. It is a pity that women can't take parts on the stage. Using only men must be a challenge.
Indeed, Your Majesty. Perhaps at some time in the future, the stage will be open to females too. You have played a marvelous Juliet.
Another flatterer. Of course it'd be easy for a playwright.
Well, I admire Elizabeth. She has made England one of the great powers of the world, and she succeeded because she controlled men so well. She still pretends that she's available for marriage, even at her age, but I don't think she ever intended to marry. She's never going to let any man or other woman control her or England. She's in charge, period. She even had her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots, beheaded for opposing her.
I agree. She enjoys flattery and lets men boast. But she is the boss, and all these men here know it, even if they don't like it. After all, what would you expect? Her father had her own mother beheaded when Elizabeth was only 2.
Elizabeth I became queen at the age of 25 and ruled England for 45 years. Became the strongest naval power in the world and a nation known for its outstanding writers and thinkers. She was known to her subjects by a gentle name, Good Queen Bess. Her enemies found that she was a much tougher, more determined, and intelligent person than her image to the public suggested. Our second play lets us get a look inside the epidemic that was the Black Death. Let's watch.
Bubonic plague rose to epidemic proportions in the Gobi Desert in the late 1320s. This terrible disease would kill 2/3 of the population of China over the next 20 years. It spread across Asia to Constantinople, through the Ardennes, and into Europe to the trading cities of Italy. Then it spread through France and the rest of Europe in 1348. Towns and cities were unequipped to handle such an epidemic. In the scene, the chief magistrate of Paris, a doctor, the chief of police, and a wealthy merchant are meeting to discuss what to do about the plague.
Gentlemen, what is the situation in Paris right now?
Sir, this great city is in its death throes. The plague has been here for months, and Paris has lost tens of thousands of people. At least one out of every 3 persons is dying, and there is no end in sight. There are so many bodies on the streets that it looks like a city of the dead.
The girls no longer have loved ones to mourn for their lost family members. Those who would grieve are dead themselves or fled to the countryside, or simply afraid to leave home as the air being fled to them. There are no tears, candles, or lines of mourners to honor the dead. Death is so normal that those being buried are not as little if they were simply dead ghosts.
Trade between Paris and other cities has virtually ceased. Everyone knows we have the plague, and no one wants our ships to carry the stench of plague to their ports. Although, it wouldn't matter. Almost every city and village in all of France has it. I have received letters from my business associates all over Europe. Plague is everywhere.
Doctor, can nothing be done to halt this Black Death sweeping across our city? Paris has more doctors than any city in Europe and a great hospital.
Doctors are dying as fast as the poorest laborers. No medicine works. We have tried bleeding the patients with leeches to remove the bad blood. The patients die anyway. The egg-shaped swellings called buboes that are the sure mark of the plague are very hard to drain, and nothing seems to stop the disease. It is difficult even for families to take care of the victims.
Religious leaders talk of omens in the heavens and the failure of people to obey the laws of God. But priests, doctors, nursing sisters, people helping the sick, and others known for their piety and kindness are dying as fast as the ungodly. Are any people safe from this plague?
No, the Jews are being blamed for poisoning the wells, but they are dying as fast as Christians, and the plague is right from the sea on ships.
The city has become totally lawless, Your Honor. People expect to die. Large, rowdy gangs of men and some women are roving the city, stealing anything they can from the homes of both the living and the dead. We are helpless to stop the crime. Most of my officers are dead or have fled the city, hoping to save their lives. It will do no good. My reports from the farms and villages are very clear. More than half of all the country people have died.
Bodies are lying everywhere, uncollected. The city workers who are left don't have enough help to remove them. The nuns who have been helping have lost so many sisters to the plague that few are left to do this work. Entire homes and death houses. The animals were dead as well. The plague doesn't spare people or animals.
The cemeteries are full. Even the soldiers charged with disposing of them are disappearing, dead by the plague or fled the city.
The plague kills without regard for rank or wealth either. Dozens of my wealthy merchant friends are as dead as any poor laborer. Some families have been entirely wiped out. Princess Joan was on her way to marry a king's son. She's dead now. The families of nobles are dying just as fast as hers.
The labor shortage is severe too, Your Honor. There are few men willing to work. Some are afraid to leave their homes, but most are sick or dying. Those who remain want much higher wages, and even meetings won't change their minds. The city has almost no reserves of food left. Prices are going higher daily for what little food does remain.
I have no solution to this problem. I fear that Paris and all France will be nothing but a giant house of death before it ends.
The Black Death swept through Europe like a relentless invading army in the years 1347 to 1351. Killed people in every walk of life, and no medical treatment worked. People thought it was carried by the air and ships, but were unaware that the disease was carried by ticks and fleas living on the ships, rats, and that the ticks and fleas can infect people and spread the disease. The extremely crowded homes and close living conditions in the city of that time, polluted drinking water, terrible sanitation, and poor personal hygiene all contributed to the spread of the epidemic.
Please give a round of applause to our actors. Next, we will enjoy some dancing. Will the members of the Maypole please take... Interesting note. It has been said families that could obtain pork consider themselves quite special. When visitors came over, they would hang up their bacon to show off. It was an outward sign of wealth that man could bring home the bacon.
and do a parade of our senior graduates. If the maypoles will please have a seat. Okay, here's your graduating class of 2019.
Will your majesties and the members of the court please take the floor? Fun fact. Late in the medieval times, blind people often say, "Bless you." When someone sneezes in the medieval times, people believed that a sneeze was the body's way of getting rid of bad spirits, and would say, "Bless you," to send goodwill to the sneezer. Other people believe this practice emerged in the time of the plague, when your last sneeze might well be your last ever. So get those blessings in now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the court of your majesty, Camden, and Queen Annika. Please enjoy. A beautiful dance, Your Majesties. Please give them another round of applause. bring our program to a close, our class has one more dance for you to enjoy. Students, please quietly take your places for the chain dance. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the students of the 7th grade performing the chain dance. brings us to the end of our medieval program. I will be dismissing groups in just a minute. However, we would like to thank everyone for coming out and helping us celebrate our medieval day. Our festivities will continue as we launch catapults immediately following the program here in the gym. Please feel free to join us.